If you take Republicans' logic all the way to the end, this is what you get. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's not helpful. Nobody's benefiting from this. Katie Britt is back and pushing a bill to launch a pregnancy tracking federal database. That's weird, right? Like, am I the only one that thinks that's strange? How do you get on the database? Like, do you send in a certified letter? I don't know. Do you call them? Do the doctors have to literally send federal information for every positive pregnancy test they find? Do they have to send negative ones? Now, I think that could overload the system. We have the doctors to start sending all the negative ones, which is most of them. If you're watching, press the subscribe button, press the like button, press the thumbs up. Subscribing is scientifically proven to make me happier, and it'll probably make you happier too. So you should do that. How do you get on the database? I don't know. The government is so bad at paperwork. That is one of the very few complaints that the Republicans and conservatives have that I could kind of be on board with. The government is inefficient. Yeah, it is. You think they're going to be good at this database? No. People are going to be on there for 4 years. And you're going to have, just like the no-fly list, you're going to have children on there for 5 years. And you're like, wait, was this child pregnant for 5 years? Probably not. But as usual, they don't need it to make sense. They just need it to sound nice when they're talking to certain people. So, more opportunities for moms is the name of the act. Would offer relevant resources for pregnant women, except for one. There's one relevant resource. Not going to allow them. Don't let them have that one. You know, there's one. We all know which one. Can't have that. Alabama Senator Katie Britt, who gained national attention after her controversial response to President Joe Biden's State of the Union, proposed a sweeping set of legislation that would enable child support payments to begin during pregnancy. I know Thomas is not here tonight, but I think this might explode his brain, honestly. Child support payments to begin during pregnancy, and establish a national clearinghouse of pregnancy care providers, except those which provide abortion-related services.
And when someone talks about registering gun, they get yelled out of the room.
Right, I know. Like, you can't let the government know what guns you have. You can let them know the status of your vagina, though. They need to know. They need to know. The more opportunities for moms to succeed, which garnered co-sponsors, blah, 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 blah. Creates specific carve-outs barring an entity that performs, induces, or refers for or counsels in favor of abortions from receiving funding or placement in a new pregnancy.gov website. Ooh. Okay, so it's a website. That's how you get it. Including SWASO, OBGYN services, and sexual health clinics across the country. So you have to go to the government website and register your pregnancy. Okay. The website would create a federal database of relevant resources for pregnant women, as well as ask users for contact information that the government could use to conduct outreach via phone and email. Critics include Kentucky Senate candidate Amy McGrath says this amounts to a database of pregnant people. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, what do you need their information for? You're already the government. Don't you already have that? Like, they have all these things already. According to the GOP, America needs a national registry for pregnant women along with the federal government tracking women's cycles. Not cool, not fun. The bill also outlines the creation of a database of pregnancy support centers or crisis centers, which critics say provide women with misleading information, Republican information, alternative facts, they like to call it, in an effort to keep them from having abortions. Okay. Some of the nation's strictest abortion bans in Alabama currently bar women from seeking any termination except in the case of saving a mother's life, and even that's hard to get. The program further changes the mechanics of child support at a federal level to enable pregnant women to seek support from sexual partners upon conception, swapping out existing language from child to unborn child. So, if you take Republicans' logic all the way to the end, this is what you get. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's not helpful. Nobody's benefiting from this. They're just making lists of people so that they can dox them later and find out whether or not they had abortions in a different state. That's what they want. They do not want people to have that freedom, and they'll take away other freedoms. They're going to have everybody on a database so that they won't be able to do the thing that they don't like. Republicans say they're all about freedom, and then they take freedom away, and then they start making databases, and they start tracking
So they
everything.
could name anyone as the father, collect child support.
I know, and that's conservatives hate that shit. Man, I don't think it's a good idea either. They hate it though. The the MRA, the men's rights types, really, really, really have wild ass issues about child support and abortions, and they almost view it as punishment, sort of like, hey, you're punished with the child, and I have to be punished with the payments of the child. It's a very complicated, weird thing that they have up in their brain, but they they want those punishments to be equal, or not equal, but commensurate. Not quite. Is that the right word? Where the woman's stuck with this child for 18 years, and the man is stuck with paying for the child for 18 years, because that's what women do. They have babies, and that's what men do. They make money. It's very weird. MRA, men's rights activists, are very strange, but I think it all comes back down to punishment for
MRAs
them.
and social conservatives really clash on marriage and stuff though.
Yeah, they do. Popog, thanks for coming over to the kick for me. Yeah, they tend to have weird ideas where they do clash. You're right. I think that if I had Thomas on right now, he'd be very upset about that child support thing, and he's got weird ideas about child support that I don't completely understand, or what. I'll have to bug him about it on next Saturday or something like that. But yeah, that's the idea. Is that she wants. They hate the government, yet they keep wanting more of it to get what they want. Okay? Yes, I want the government to do what I want as well, but I'm going to tell you that.
Children should have to pay me support.
That's true. That makes sense. And then you can collect it when you're 65. Conservatives scream about the government. We hate the government. We hate the government. We hate the government unless it's doing what we want. And then they just bend it to what they want. And then they tell you that they hate the government. I tell you that yes, I want the government to do what I want. And I'm going to tell you how. And I'm going to tell you what I want them to do ahead of time. You know? They're just bad faith, in my opinion. The Republicans, especially this Katie Britt lady, wants women to have some things that prevent them from having abortions, and that's it. She doesn't want welfare. After that baby is born, fuck them. Abandon their asses. Tell them to get to work in a meat packing plant in Alabama because they've lowered the child labor laws. Unborn fetuses are absolutely people who need rights, protection, and commitment, and every resource in the world. Once they're born, they're on their own. And it doesn't make any sense.
I am gonna come out and say I am opposed to a centralized government database on individual pregnancy status.
I agree. That
Cut
sounds
that cord
stupid.
and get to work.
I know, cut that cord and get to work. I agree, Popok. That's stupid. I'm thinking that it would be so wildly out of date that it wouldn't even matter. Like anybody who actually is following the rules would put their name on there within a month or two, honestly, of the conception. Sometimes they don't know. Then they would have the baby, and then they'd either forget, or if they said, hey, take my name off, it wouldn't come off because it's a government bureaucracy. Government bureaucracies are slow and bad at keeping records. They could be better, but they're always cut to the bone, and they're always underfunded.
Oh, it's certainly not going to work for at least the first 15 years of the website being created.
Absolutely correct. There's going to be somebody on there constantly for the 15 years, and then she's going to get emails and messages and stuff asking her when her due date is, and the kid's going to be 9 years old. It's going to be a shit show. So, but nobody expects it to go through. And again, that's a thing that I think Republicans do a little bit more often than the Dems do. They have a cockamamie ass plan. They toss it out there with no fucking planning, no explanation, no nuts and bolts. They don't put everything together. They just kind of toss it out there, and then it gets voted down. And they're like, oh, see, they don't let us do anything. They knew it wasn't going to pass, but they toss it out anyway because they just don't care. All they need is to have a soundbite. They need to have a good tweet for tomorrow. I proposed the Moms Act, and you stood against it, you fucking Hitler. You're Popog, you're against the Moms Act. Why do you hate moms? Why do you hate moms? Popog, aka Hitler. Actually, they don't use that word. They would say progressive or communist. There you go.
Because she makes me sew the dishes. Do.
Yeah. So you're a communist. Popog, why do you hate moms? You're a communist. Okay.